Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starting a new season this time with Season 2, Episode 1, titled Shadows. Season 1, I thoroughly enjoyed it, as you could tell from all the reactions and from the finale reaction I had. It was a thoroughly enjoyable and amazing season. I've heard some people saying it's like, as it goes up, season 1 is visibly the weakest, but I think, as a starting point, it worked out really, really well. May well be the weakest, but as a starting point, I think that's where it stood out strongest. It had the slow burn stuff, but then even the slow burn stuff, it still left you wanting more, enough for you to actually push through into the second half, which is unarguably the best half of that season. But yeah, I'm super duper glad I got into it. Super duper glad you guys enjoyed all the reactions and are sticking around for more. Can't wait to get into more myself. Season 1 ended with Fury popping by to help out his old buddy, old pal, old friend Phil Coulson. He popped by. He saved Fitzsimmons from the ocean after they had their little emotional thing, and Fitz got knocked out by the water bursting in, and he very nearly drowned. I think he was comatose for the most part. I think he was unconscious for most of it, and he wasn't really in the rest of the episode. But he saved them, and I think looking back through it, I think there was one thing I actually forgot that Fury mentioned, was that Fitz's brain went for like a few minutes, like a good few minutes without oxygen, and from what I hear, that can be dangerous. That can be pretty damn dangerous, especially because the brain is such a vital organ in the body. It went without oxygen for a good few minutes, and I know that can be lethal. I don't really know exactly how lethal. I remember in Arrow when Quentin Lance died, the doctor said that his brain went without oxygen for like 7 minutes or something, and then he just seized and died. So I'm hoping the same thing doesn't happen to Fitz. I don't want to lose Fitz. But Simmons did say that he is alive. He's alive, but how well he is the question of the day. But he is alive, so I guess we'll see exactly what's going to happen. But yeah, they are both alive and well. We had Garrett and Ward working to build up their centipede soldier army at some United States army base, and Quinn was helping them kind of capitalize on this thing and actually promoting it to generals. But then Garrett was just high. He was evidently high. He was pretty high on GH325 being in his body. He was seeing the stars and the constellations and the secrets of the universe and all that sort of stuff. He still had his whole Hydra evilness in him, and he was still giving out malicious orders, but for the most part he was just high, and he butchered one of the generals by ripping out his rib, like this one single rib, and then just beating him to death with it. So that happened. But yeah, he had that going on. And then by the end of it, Sky had freed Ace and got him to send a message to Mike, who then knew to fight back when he knew that Ace was in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody again. So he blew the crap out of Garrett and then stomped his face in. And then by the end of it, Garrett was trying to climb back up into the chair and covering himself up in centipede armor. And right in the middle of his kind of monologue, Coulson blew him up with the Peruvian laser blast thing, the original 084. So he blew him up with that. So Garrett's dead. I think I was very, very much waiting for that. I was like, wait, no, don't do this to me. Don't just bring him back with some body armor and a weapon system. Don't do that. But no, he was so busy monologuing, he didn't bother to check his environment and didn't see Coulson getting ready to aim and fire at his Hydra ass. So that was cool. Garrett's dead. We had Ward versus May, which was super satisfying to watch, but didn't really last very long. I think she did like a karate chop to his face and knocked him unconscious, and many brutal moves were exchanged, like a nail to the foot and a plank to the spine, it seems, or like to the back in general. Many lines and moves were exchanged from both sides, and in the end she knocked him on his ass, as expected pretty much. Then in the end, he his larynx or something was bruised, so that's why he couldn't talk, apparently. But he is now in S.H.I.E.L.D. imprisonment, so I think... I don't remember if Coulson said he was actually sending him anywhere in particular. I mean, he said he was just going to torture him as brutally as possible, because he was the reason that Fitz almost died, so... And he's also a Hydra agent, so... You know, for many crimes he will have to pay for, so he will have some internal torture and external torture at the hands of May once again. So, yeah, so that was that. Fury came by with a kind of message at the end as well. He wanted not only to help Coulson salvage what was left of the team and to take down Garrett's side of the Hydra stuff, but he also gave Coulson a little bit of a toolbox or something he called, like a little cube, and promoted Coulson to director. He promoted him to director and gave him the new job of rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. We're actually rebuilding like a new S.H.I.E.L.D. in the wake of the Hydra mess. He wanted Coulson to actually rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. So, yeah, he's director, and he's the director of a new S.H.I.E.L.D., which is, I'm really excited to see how he manages to pull this off and what new people he recruits. Because, you know, new S.H.I.E.L.D., new team members are kind of expected. I think we're going to have Triplet from the last season sticking around, so that would be cool. But yeah, so he's rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. He landed at the Playground, which is another secret base which has no official name but was dubbed the Playground by Billy Koenig. So Eric Koenig, R.I.P., God rest his soul and all that. He had a brother. He had an identical twin brother, which I did not see coming. He had an identical, not even just in looks, like personality as a whole. Like they're like, you know, all about, like both of them all about protocol. Both of them diehard fans of Phil Coulson and everything. But yeah, Billy Koenig is the newest one. He's at the Playground. And he gave the whole case by case lanyard speech all over again. So I'm assuming we won't need the lie detector chair initiation all over again, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But he is at the Playground. That's where they're going to start now, with a new team and a new plan to rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. So I guess that's what this season's going to be about then. So rebuilding a new S.H.I.E.L.D. organization. And me personally, I think this one, I think it's going to be a step up in the sense that, you know, I mean, this one, like, since they have to rebuild it now, like a S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0 pretty much. I think last time it's like, you know, they started off creating super soldiers in World War II and then afterwards figuring out, afterwards just, like, I think because, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. was found in the wake of Captain America's death, so after that they didn't really, I mean, I haven't watched Agent Carter, so I can't say that, I haven't continued watching Agent Carter, but so I can't say this with the utmost confidence, but when S.H.I.E.L.D. itself was started, I think it maybe just started like predominantly as like a government intelligence organization, like basic stuff, and then after New York and everything happened, that's when they realized, okay, we need a separate stuff going on for extraterrestrial shit that might happen on this planet. But now they go forward into the world knowing that all of this stuff is out there, so they can actually start off being a good enough mixture of normal human terrorists and extraterrestrial shit that might happen. So that stuff, I am excited to see how it actually goes down. But yeah, and we also had two kind of sneaky kind of post-credit scenes, one of which showed Reyna meeting up with Sky's father. She told him that, you know, oh, and I know we haven't seen each other in a long time, but I found your daughter, and she showed him a picture of Sky, and the guy had like a very bloodied and cut up hand that was just oozing blood in the goriest of ways. But yeah, so Sky's father is still out and about. Well, not really out and about, he's sat in a chair, but he's out there in the world. So yeah, I don't know what the case is for her mother, but Sky's father is out there. So I mean, he must, I mean, assuming that those wounds he kind of retained during the battle to recover his child in China, must have been one hell of a fight. But yeah, her father is still out there, and knows Reyna, so yeah, but I mean, for the past couple of episodes, Reyna has been kind of saying that, you know, she knows stuff about Sky, like her backstory reminds her of a story that she heard before, and she knows that there's like some kind of deeper secret or darkness in Sky awaiting to be unleashed and stuff, so, you know, that kind of stuff is just waiting to be unleashed. But that was that. We also had another scene that I'm just remembering now. We had Coulson waking up in the middle of the night to go, like, he looked at Garrett's drawings of those circles on the glass door and everything, and then he went and drew an even bigger one on the wall with a knife. So he was scratching that stuff into the wall, and there was like just like a massive diagram of like circles and lines and, well, pretty much near enough the same stuff that Garrett was drawing, but just bigger and seemingly more complex. So I'm assuming we'll get an explanation for that also at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can remember from the last episode, the last season. Season wise, I loved season 1. I loved it. I think it's in my experience, like from all the shows I've watched, I haven't really fallen in love with a starting point season as much as I have for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, and then you guys keep telling me this, it's only going to get better from here. So, buckled in, just the imaginary seatbelt right here, buckled in, just waiting to see what else this show has to offer. So, season 2, episode 1, Shadows. Let's delve into this shit together.
The answer to death itself.
I'm sure he did. Oh. Becky! Becky! And the Howling Commandos! Hey!
All right, nice and calm, no sudden moves or...
Oh, that's awesome!
Hey, Dugan, what's the German word for nuts?
I don't know, Jim. I'll tie a blasting cap to him, I bet we'll hear it.
Put it down.
Becky! Hey, girl!
Down. Until then, all we can do is box it up, lock it up, and dedicate ourselves to making...
084. Oh, is that where it first started? 084. They didn't know what it was, just on that. Yeah, okay. Alright. So the SSR came up with that stuff. Ooh, Sky's got bangs. Okay.
Until the deal's done.
Alright.
That's what we want to hear.
Is that Lucy Lawless? I feel like that's Lucy Lawless.
Not hardware.
I only brought 2 guards.
Whoa! Oh! Oh, that's a bad sign. Who's this guy? Someone after the dossier. Damn. Okay, nice. Agent Sky. Lance Hunter. Lance. These names are going by too quickly. Lance Hunter. That's what I got.
Sorry, Mac. No new toys.
Mac. Okay, cool.
It's not just N084. It's the first.
The very
And
first.
All Fury knew about was the trail of bodies that follows it. If Hydra gets their hands on this, they may not have to.
Oh, yeah. It's the thing that turned all those soldiers to ice or stone or whatever it was, right? Yeah.
He believes you'll find its structure quite pleasurable. Was he right?
He likes diamonds?
He's always right.
No, he transforms into diamonds! Holy crap! Okay, that's new.
Whatever. The
Rate of oscillation?
yes, I was just about to say that actually, and no, I haven't because it keeps. What's the word again? Give me the word.
Oh,
Yes,
it's...
Fine. Thanks. Go away.
You need to be patient with yourself, Fizz.
Well, it's a good thing Simmons is here, because I think
Almost.
she might be the best person to be able to handle him.
There is something.
Is it bleeding? No, it's...
Okay, that's. Can you see that?
That's...
Flesh.
That's flesh!
Blood. Check who's the supervising agent.
Agent John Garrett.
They must have faked Creel's termination.
Of course he was. Of fucking course he was.
John Garrett.
Can you give us a moment?
Watch this.
What, no hugs?
You'll be safe, I promise.
Oh, I think I know what this is. She's here to see him, isn't she? She's here to see Ward. She's here to see Ward. Yeah. Yeah, the good old Hydra boy.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Shut up.
Now, once Creel touches a substance, he can absorb it and somehow consciously transform the molecules of his body into that substance.
Oh, so
He wouldn't
he's
tell us
some
how,
kind of
but he
absorbatron
knows
or absorption man.
almost. There's so much I want to tell you about
Oh, she can shut it off.
your father.
I'm sorry, what? He's gonna try and lure her in with secrets of her heritage?
Yeah, believe it or not.
I think the fuck not.
You called it. Talbot hasn't crushed Hydra.
Whoa.
Just sent them slithering back to the shadows.
I hate being right.
Yep, still a global thing. Still a global thing.
Watch your six.
Oh god, it's the Absorbatron. Oh crap. Oh. Come on, mate. That's it. Roundhouse that motherfucker up. Oh no. Oh, he's gonna absorb the chains. No, very bad idea. Oh. Don't even know if that's real gold or painted gold, but either way, he's absorbing it. Either way, he's absorbing it. Oh, damn. Can May beat gold? Come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Boom. The power of electricity, bitch. You can't absorb any of that crap, right? Like there are power dampeners of some sort.
Especially when they keep on asking about the...
Cloaking?
Yeah.
No, they're just anxious about it. They know you're nearly done.
Yeah, well, I may not seem like the genius I used to be, but I still have ideas.
I'm sure.
Just
Still got a working brain.
Every day, I see it, they see it, and soon you'll see it yourself.
Mm. Even in the wake of all this, they're still together. Still strong.
Voice biometrics.
Biometrics.
Your people just took a man they have no idea how to contain to the one place he wants to be.
Huh.
Now I need your help to stop him.
I was wondering that's why he didn't fight back when the tasers wore off. He knew where they were taking
Let me
him.
out of here, and I promise not to kill you. But there is no way on God's green earth I am ever gonna help you.
You stubborn little soldier man.
You might.
Thank God those are ices. Just...
Son of a bitch!
Oh,
General.
looking sharp.
Come on, girl. You know I look good.
Yeah, navy blue's a good look on him. Wait, is he actually gone?
He's gone. Come upstairs.
Or did he absorb the inside of the thing? Oh, he absorbed that. How could he absorb that? Oh, God, you can't. Can he literally absorb anything, any material, any mineral? Really? Anything at all?
Private Tilden, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't care about
This register or that.
Oh, a voice. Well, I figured it had to be a voice mod.
I'll have you so deep in horse manure, son, you'll need a damn snorkel.
I understand, sir, but I can't...
Yeah, there it is, General Jones.
Never mind.
Make sure Thingy's not here. Make sure Creel's not here, Mr. Absorbatron. Oh, Absorbatron is there. I spoke too soon. And is he naked? Oh, please don't let him be naked.
Why don't we find out what makes this thing so deadly?
Xena, why would you hold it? Oh.
Can't let go.
Oh no, it's the same thing. Circles, lines, oval thing.
Do not abort. Proceed as planned.
Oh, shit.
You heard him.
Help me up, I can follow.
Are you mental?
She's gonna...
Orders.
Through the orders, we need to get you to a doctor.
Yeah, she needs help. She's gonna slow them down otherwise.
But I'm making sure she doesn't.
Yeah, again, let Hunter go with them. The rest of them sort out the stuff. Let Hunter go with her to get her to a safer place. Oh, damn.
Or I won't make it to the hospital. You've seen what they can do with robotics these days.
No,
I
yeah.
don't want to die.
Just a nice bionic arm.
Okay.
Oh, damn. Can he cut it off? Can he do it? Can he do it?
He's not the same, and since Simmons left, he's only getting worse.
This is number 2 of 5. If I don't get this one finished today, there's
You're telling me Simmons is in his head? You're telling me Gemma Simmons?
Yes, yes,
His
I know.
BFF for life is in his head.
Simmons said she thought he'd be better without her here, but believing just broke him. In the months since, he's grown isolated, talking to himself more and more.
I know.
I want Fitzsimmons.
We have to fight on for those we've lost.
Screw you! You're the reason that's happened. Is she okay? Oh Crusher! God damn it! Oh, he Winter Soldiered that guy! He Winter Soldiered that guy! Oh, I feel like Hartley's not gonna make it out of this one. Oh, Xena! Oh, Idaho's gone too. Oh god, it's literally just Hunter. It's just Hunter. Oh, so he can touch it, huh? Sounds like being Absorbatron has its perks.
I know how long you've been searching for this, Dr. Whitehall.
Dr. Whitehall?
You have no idea.
Wait. Isn't he that Nazi dude? Wasn't he the Hydra dude from the beginning? I recognise those Harry Potter round glasses. He was the Nazi guy from the beginning. Okay, so Whitehall, immortal Nazi. That's great. That is exactly what we need right now. Some kind of, de-aged immortal Nazi. That's exactly what we need. But wowza. Wow, that was actually an interesting way to open up this new season. I really enjoyed that. I think it feels like they're definitely going a step up from what they've gone. And I think especially with what I said before, like now that they're restarting S.H.I.E.L.D., now that they are rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D., going forward, they now go forward not just as a new organization, but with as a new organization with all the necessary intel. Like, with the old S.H.I.E.L.D., they had to evolve with the times, but now this one they still do. But but from the beginning, from the birth of this new S.H.I.E.L.D., they're aware of most, if not all, threats in the world. They're aware that they're going forward as a new organization, aware of all the threats that could happen and have happened, like using that previous experience and intel to craft up new protocols and new directives and all that kind of crap. It definitely felt like that. Like, so we starting off with a fairly new team. So we had a group of mercenaries. I think Coulson called them a group of mercenaries. So we had Lance Hunter, the British dude who is undeniably British. We had Elizabeth Hartley, played by Lucia Lawless, aka Xena Warrior Princess. That's a Wonder Woman thing, but regardless, Xena Warrior Princess was what was in this. They had to kill her off at the end of it. And we also had Idaho, who was the driver or something. I think he was the driver guy. But now out of the two of them, Hunter is the only one left. Hartley held the thing, the obelisk. I think it's called the obelisk. That little handheld thingy mabobbly that killed people. And it started from a hand, but it was slowly growing up. And we've seen what it can do from the beginning. But yes, it kind of, I think it was like paralyzing her arm, or it was killing her arm, sort of something. She could feel that pain. It was actually draining it out of her as it turned her arm into whatever it was doing. But it was working slowly, and she said, just to amputate, just to take her arm off. So, by the time the car crash happened, Hunter had taken off her arm and stuff. But then, I figured she wouldn't make it out of that car. Like, as soon as I saw the car toppling over, I figured, she's not gonna make this. She's already injured beyond, any kind of immediate repair. That alone would have drained a lot of her kind of life force in general. So, the having to go through a car crash, or the car toppling a couple of times before resting, would have definitely killed her. And then Idaho as well, the driver, he didn't make it either. So Hunter, at the end, he was the only one who actually made it, and he played dead and stuff. So, but the way this season opened up, the way the episode alone opened up, we're just flashing back to Austria, I think it was, in 1945, the dead end of the Second World War, and the very last Hydra base is taken down by Agent Peggy Carter and the Howling Commandos. That was an opening I never could have dreamed of, but it was an amazing opening nonetheless. As soon as Peggy popped up, it's just like my screen just starts glowing. It's just, glitter and fireworks and just celebrations everywhere. It's just, I love her so much. And I think I know she does have her own show, which went on for about 2 seasons, I think, before it ended, or it was cancelled or something. I don't know what happened there, but I think I did actually out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter was the one on my original channel I actually started reacting to, and I got like 2 episodes in before I lost track. So since I've started this show, I've been wondering, for one thing, where Agent Carter might fit into this in terms of a tieback or a cameo or something. Now, this is one example, presumably of many. But yeah, Agent Carter reactions, I do still want to do them. I want to react to that show. I don't know when it's going to happen. I've been thinking maybe I could do it as like, I could do it during the summer. Or just to figure out when, but I do definitely want to do Agent Carter reactions. So I think I think it would have to be it would definitely be a similar situation with this. Like with this one, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, I had already watched the pilot episode enough to not be able to react as genuinely to that. But Agent Carter Season 1, I think I would do it from the third episode onwards, because I've seen the first couple of episodes a bunch of times. Each time I try and get into the show, when I watch that kind of show, I don't know what it is. Like some shows I can binge within like 2-3 days tops easily, but then other stuff it's like I don't know, I just can't get through it. But I think it was especially because I started it and then I just had other shows going on, and then those ones were actually airing currently, so I was fighting to stay, consistent and live and in time with those. And then Agent Carter was I think Agent Carter, when I started watching it, season 2 had already ended, so it was like, I don't know, just like it was like less of an urgency. I think it'd be the best word. But yeah, regardless, Agent Carter, I will definitely be reacting to it at some point soon. Synchronization with this. I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, Agent Carter, seeing that opening cameo, that was very, very cool. That was very, very cool. But yeah, they were taking down the last Hydra base. She said the last Hydra base. So that was definitely after the Red Skull's death and after Cap's death. But they came up with the 084. That was the very first 084. That was still, I think that it was still back when it was before S.H.I.E.L.D. It was when the SSR was still a thing. So the SSR was what evolved into S.H.I.E.L.D. And I think Peggy was one of the co-founding members of S.H.I.E.L.D. But yeah, the obelisk, it was the very first, the original 084. So again, it goes further to prove it. Like, obviously unknown objects of unknown origin, sure, but they still have some kind of mystical, unearthly properties. Like the hammer, it's literally from Asgard. The Peruvian thing, it's a laser blaster that incinerates you. Sky, there has to be something about her. The GH325 is in her, it works. I think I want, yeah, actually it would. I was gonna say, I wonder if it would work on a normal human being with no previous kind of alterations, but it would, because it worked on Coulson, and he's a perfectly normal human being. So yeah, but then now with this, the obelisk is the original 084. So I think with the 084 stuff, I don't know. I mean, if it's like, I mean, if there's maybe like more of a focus on stuff, like, I mean, sure, I mean, maybe one like requirement of it would be that it's an object of unknown origin, but then maybe another requirement could be that, like maybe what would make it require more attention and more urgency in its retrieval would be, okay, is it displaying or exhibiting any any weird properties or characteristics, or is it doing anything that no normal earthly object would do? Because that could be like another requirement for it, and it would also, put S.H.I.E.L.D. be a requirement for S.H.I.E.L.D. to be on its radar, more like the other way around. But yeah, the obelisk was the original 084, and it has some kind of, I think it turned. I mean, we saw what it did to the soldiers. Let me go back and check that. What did it do to the soldiers? It turned them pretty much into what did it do? Yeah, so it turned like, I think at a glance it looks like some black ice, and at another glance it looks kind of like stone, or like maybe just like a thoroughly decayed body. Like for Hartley's hand, it looked like it was just decaying her hand and turning it into something else, but with this one it's like these fully dead bodies. It just looks, yeah, just like some kind of stone or like extraterrestrial decaying mineral. But yeah, the obelisk, it like skin on skin contact, like skin to obelisk contact is a no. That is how you get the stuff. And Hartley couldn't even let it go. It's like, yeah, I think maybe that could be a sign of paralysis or numbness, like her hand is glued to the obelisk, and then it just won't let go until it's created and until it's finished off the process. And the only other option is what she came up with, like actually amputating the hand, like taking off the limb or whatever that it's already claimed, and then keeping the rest of your body to yourself. So once you hold it, it won't let go of you until it actually finishes the process of whateverizing your body. So yeah, and it was originally in Nazi possession, and yeah, this guy Whitehall definitely is it has to be, but that is Whitehall. Yeah, I figured it. The glasses were the main giveaway, but yeah, so opening, he has a freaking thingy, like a perfect Nazi German accent. I don't even know if Nazi is an accent, but like a German accent. At the end, it sounds like he has a British accent of sorts. I mean, Whitehall, he has lived a long time. He's lived like almost as long as Cap has, like those 70, 60 years. So yeah, and he hasn't even aged a day. I don't mean to compliment him because he's a Nazi, but he hasn't aged a day at all. So yeah, and he's in search of the obelisk. So he was the one who set Creel onto its trail. So yeah, that's Peggy and the Howling Commando boys. That stuff. Xena, Hunter, thingy. And we have Mac as well. Mac, he was, I think he was like working on the bus or working on some kind of car. Like I think I get like engineer / mechanic kind of vibes from him. So he's a much more practical worker. But yeah, so then there's that. Fitzsimmons, they're not okay because Fitz, for one thing, he's struggling. I think Coulson said he retained more damage to his frontal lobe than they originally predicted or originally examined. But yeah, so he's kind of he struggles to get his words out. He struggles to find the words to properly express himself and to properly talk, and he's also taking some kind of medication to help him along. So I don't know if that's some kind of like recovery medication or it's just something that helps him cope. But yeah, I think he still knows his stuff for the most part, but it's actually just talking the same way he used to and just being the same as he used to. It's what's actually kind of taken that kick out of him. And apparently, I think they had me going for the run. I legitimately thought that Simmons was there with her hand on his shoulder, being there for him and helping him actually recover. And be like, I mean, because it made sense as well. Like Fitz and Simmons, as everything they've been through together, even throughout season 1, like Simmons would be the one who knows him best. She's the one who can help him get his ideas out and stuff. And I had these weird vibes here and there, like when May was talking there, like I wondered why she was exclusively referring to Fitz, why she didn't mention Simmons, why that stuff was happening, and like she seemed to show, like, in the moment she seemed to show little like acknowledgement to the fact that Simmons was helping him speak or anything, or just she didn't really pay much attention to Simmons. But I figured that's just because Fitz is doing the talking. He's examined the thing. So yeah, so that kind of made somewhat sense, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But yeah, so there was that, and then in the end, Coulson is the one talking about them, and he's saying, Simmons left because she thought that would help him with his recovery, which makes little to no sense. I wonder if Simmons herself wanted to go home and check on her family or something, or that would make sense. I mean, after everything they've been through, like the fact that, so some of these guys still have family, like May still has her mother and stuff. I mean, she's fine, she's with the CIA, or more the Chinese equivalent. But Simmons has spoken of like her own parents before, so I wonder if she's gone back to kind of check on them and be with them a bit, and maybe, I don't know, because I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me that she'd leave Fitz knowingly in this condition. I feel like maybe she herself needs a break, which is completely justified. But yeah, I think knowing Fitz is in this condition, I don't really believe that she'd come to that conclusion so easily. Like, oh, maybe he'll do better without me. Maybe he just needs his own space. Because I mean, with her gone, all Fitz does is imagine that she's there, that she's the one talking to him, that she's the one who gets him, who least annoys him. You know, the one who quite literally helps him finish his sentences and actually talk and stuff, and all the while he's just talking to himself. So, yeah, and like, he's growing a bit of like a fuzz, growing a bit of like a short trim beard and everything. He's going through some stress as well, and he seems, you know, he seems very different as well. I think in this episode alone, I think that's what Ian has actually been pulling off, the fact that he's not the same Fitz. He's not the same Fitz. He's going through his own struggles. We don't see that in depth just yet, but like the very surface level of his struggles, we kind of see it. The fact that, you know, he's very fidgety and he's slow with his words and he can't concentrate as much and he's talking to himself, like that kind of stuff. Like he's not the same Fitz we know. So we're this season, or at least half of the season, we're gonna have to spend some time getting to know him. And no one else is there. I think that also shows the fact that, you know, like, even if he does talk to himself, he still imagines, like, it's not even a matter of talking to like another version of himself, because that would probably just annoy him, like him having to talk to himself. He just imagines Fitz there, because he imagines Simmons there, because she is the angel on his shoulder. She's the one guiding him along and helping him and still putting up with him in some ways. So yeah, but I'm curious to see how they actually go forward with that stuff. But they had me hooked on. They had me believing, for the most part, that Simmons was there, only to tear away my Fitz and Simmons from me. Like, this is just, I mean, I'm glad they're alive. At least I'm glad they're both still alive. Fitz is alive and mostly well. He has issues, but he's mostly alive. So I think, you know, I mean, my main request was that, to keep Fitzsimmons alive and well, and to keep them together was my other request. But at least one is better than none. One is very much better than none. So yeah, but yeah, so Fitz is kind of on his own now. He's just in his lab on his own, just talking to Simmons in his mind and studying stuff and still getting his job done. I wonder, should they not be putting him through some kind of like medical rehab, like mental rehab kind of treatment, like some kind of like counseling or therapy or something? I think that would work more than anything. I mean, for all I know, they could have tried, and he just kind of insists otherwise and says he's fine. And his form of therapy may well be like just talking to Simmons in his head, like just getting his words out to her, and then, because I mean, in that case as well, I think you're talking to someone like that, like imagining someone else is there. It's not very real time. It's not 100% accurate. It's like, you know, I mean, he knows her well enough to know what she'd say. But then again, he's thinking of what he thinks she would say. Like, it's like, you know, he knows her well enough to know, like, you know, what kind of conclusions she'd come to, what kind of suggestions she'd make. But again, it's like, you know, we don't know how much she's changed. Like, we're, you know, he's going off of that based on how he remembers her. So, like, you know, if and when Simmons ever comes back in this season, you know, we can't help but wonder how much she might have changed, how much her attitude or how much she might have grown, how different her behavior is towards the team since she's gone. I don't know if he actually mentioned where she left it, if she'd actually gone back home to England and gone back to her family, or if she's just elsewhere doing S.H.I.E.L.D. work. But yeah, like he hold on, let me actually check that instead of just guessing. Yeah, he didn't mention, and also it wasn't frontal lobe, it was temporal lobe. I mean, not a brainy person, or not a brain scientist. I don't know what probably location difference, probably function difference, but yeah, he said temporal lobe. But he didn't mention where she was gone. He didn't mention where Simmons had actually gone to. But yeah, just that, you know, her justification was her leaving might help him, but he'd only grown worse. He'd become possibly more broken. He was more isolated as well. I don't think that's also the thing. He, like, in this time, because he himself knows, I think he's afraid of that judgment from the rest of the team. Like he said, you know, he says that they all keep looking at him like he's, you know, about to break and fall apart. And I think he himself knows he's different, but, you know, like, you know, given that he's still imagining Simmons, I think he sees that as like, you know, she, like, just the mere imagination of her is the glue holding him together. That's the fact, like, you know, like, if she is gone, he loses pretty much his other half, and he has no one else left. So, you know, like, the one thing keeping his mind together is him imagining that she's still there, the one person who can understand him, the one person who gets him, the one person who knows who he is. So yeah, so he's become more isolated. He doesn't really talk to anyone else much, unless they come in for mission stats or, you know, research stats or whatever. So Yeah, but yeah, so I think he's taking medication as well, so I don't know what kind of medication that would be, like maybe something to just help keep him sane, help keep him awake or whatever, but he is taking some medication, and he's even imagining, Simmons doing exactly what she would do, and, like keeping him on track of all of his necessary stuff, so yeah, it's gonna be a hard road out here for Fitz, and I'm not here for it. I don't want to see Fitz struggling. I don't want to see him struggle. I mean, odds are, they're making him struggle to give him that extra push of development and actually show him being his own person still in some way, but I don't know, it's too painful. It's too painful for me to see. But yeah, but I do hope we see her coming back soon enough this season. I think having a season without her would be too unlikely. I think it wouldn't hold up too well. Even in this sense, like just him imagining her being there, it wouldn't really hold up too well. So I am looking forward to seeing when Gemma Simmons can return. So yeah, that was that, and it's been a few months as well. It's been like they've mentioned that quite a bit. Like is in the months that she left and in the months that they've been doing otherwise. So someone did mention that it's been a few months since the end of season 1. So they've been busy. You can tell it's been some time as well. They've been busy. Like all of this was not done in like a couple of weeks or like a few days or anything. Like they've Sky's gotten banged. That would not happen in a day. I mean, she looks great, and I love her bangs, but that would not happen in like a day. They've recruited new people. They've they've actually spent time building themselves back up in the playground. So that's stuff, and they've recruited the Mercs. They've recruited Mac. But yeah, they've actually spent some time actually going through all of this stuff. And yeah, I think they've got Ward as well. They've got Ward in prison. They've got Ward in Vault D behind like a force field with extra security measures and stuff. And he is their info prisoner. He is their kind of prisoner kept behind solely for information that they can use to fight back against Hydra. And he's as manipulative as ever. I do not fall for any of that BS about him still caring about Sky. I mean, maybe he does in his own fucked up way. Maybe he does care about Sky and he wouldn't hurt her. And I think that's the reason he refuses to talk to anyone but her. And he refuses to give any information about her. But also I think he's using that whole father thing as leverage. He wants to get back under her skin again. And like just get into her head and do stuff, and he's still Ward. He's still that same old dickish Ward that tried to be a double agent and betrayed all of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there is no. By the time I trust him, hell will have frozen over, and Satan will be climbing back up to get some some of that sunshine and stuff. So yeah, by the time Ward becomes a good guy, the devil himself will show up to steal some sunshine from Earth in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, yeah. But he's tried suicide as well. Or at least he's tried, like, self-harm or, like, suicide attempts on it. I think he said, like, the first pair of pants they gave him had buttons on it, so I don't know what you'd be able to do with buttons. Like, stick them in your eye, or, like, I mean, it's a small part, so you could probably swallow it and you'd probably try and choke on it. But then they took that away from him, and then he said, you fold paper thin enough and sharp enough, and you can cut it. So I think he cut that along his arm, tried to give himself a paper cut, and then they took that away from him, and then he just started running into the walls. But then that didn't work. So he's like, he's tried to off himself. He has tried to off himself and escape S.H.I.E.L.D. custody without actually leaving his cell. But they've stopped because they need him for that info. They need it for that info. That's the only reason they're keeping him alive. And every now and then, Coulson has sent Sky down to him to talk to him, and she's kind of doing it fully reluctantly, just completely reluctantly, but she's doing it knowing that they have no other choice and that he is, unfortunately, their best bet in tracking down this stuff. And he does say, and he says that, any information he gives him will be the honest truth. But I think now it's too little too late. Now he know. I think part of him now would know that, Sky doesn't want to listen to him, doesn't want to talk to him, but now she has no other choice but to trust him. So now is also the right time for him to reveal the truth and to also try and reveal more, like give her what she wants and stuff as well. Like because at any point those walls could go down and he could try something, he could try anything. So this whole like sweet boy act, is just it's just because he now knows he's behind a force field, he's in a cell, he has no one else to talk to, he has nothing else going on. So that's it. It's just a last resort to try and get through to someone and just hope for the best. So we had Carl Creel Carl Creel was a former boxer known as the Crusher, now working as I think he's probably still working. He's probably working as some kind of mercenary for Hydra as well. He was given the mission by Whitehall to retrieve the obelisk mainly. I think that base they were at, that army base they were at. I think it also contains a lot of other like other SSR captured items as well, not just 084s or that 084 alone, but a lot of other items. But he was there for the same reason the team was there, and that was to capture the very first 084. That was to capture the obelisk. But he also had Garrett as his supervising officer way back when he first. I think he was like on like a former index thing or something. Like he was like a name on the index. But he was also like under the trainee / mentorship thing of Garrett. So he's by definition he's a dick. But he also has absorption powers. He's some kind of absorbatron. I'm pretty sure that's a terrible name for him, but right now absorbatron, absorption man sounds terrible, but absorbatron sounds suitable enough. Cliche perhaps, but suitable enough. But absorption powers were his thing, and I think he can absorb almost any minerals or any material. Like I think he was given a diamond by Whitehall. He was given a diamond to absorb, but he can actually. I think it's not even I think he can control how much he absorbs it as well. Because in some cases he just does his hand, just like his arm. In other cases he actually absorbs it to his entire upper body. But yeah, for the most part he can actually control exactly how much he absorbs and how deep he absorbs it, and then he just turns into that. And I'm pretty sure. I think he reminds me of Kevin Levin from Ben 10. Kevin Levin. I think was it Kevin Levin? I don't know. I think it was, yeah. That kid from the teenage Ben 10 series that could absorb any material and still use it as a weapon. It reminds me of him. The good old days of Ben 10, some cartoon nostalgia. But yeah, so that's that, and he even absorbed the glass of his cell, of his cage. He absorbed that. I mean, can he absorb anything? I don't know limits, because if that's the case, I guess there's not really many restrictions as to what they can keep him captive in. I think, or maybe just maybe keep him captive in something that makes him visible, even if he's absorbed it. Like with the glass, it just allowed him to be reflective, or at least see-through in some way, so that they couldn't actually see him in his thing. And he was like Drax, standing so incredibly still that they couldn't see him. Like this guy is the real, invisible dude, the one with invisible powers, like just camouflage. And even when Hartley walked through the aisles, and he was just camouflaged as a rock into the wall, as like a cement or stone or whatever. So he can absorb practically anything and use it for visibility benefits, and as well as with strength. But he's a boxer, so he's a former boxer, so he knows how to fight too. But yeah, he was the one, and I think he could hold it too. He absorbed the tires mineral, the tires material, the rubber from that, so he could actually hold the obelisk and escape with it. So he's so far he's the only one. If the guys wore gloves, if the guys actually wear gloves the next time they go after it, then they can actually do it as well. So yeah, but now there no skin on obelisk contact. No, that's how you die. That's how death befalls you. There's that. But he was the one hired by Whitehall to go along with it. And then we had Whitehall, of course, Dr. Whitehall. So he is the Nazi dude from the beginning who first was in charge of packing up all the Hydra stuff and escaping from that base right before Peggy Carter kicked open those doors and knocked them on their asses. But yeah, he hasn't aged today, so he must have something going on with him. He must have some kind of serum or some kind of thing that he injects, or just something he's taken that's keeping him alive or kept him alive for this long. And it doesn't even seem like a cryo thing. It doesn't even seem like a thing where he's locked himself away in cryo somehow and kept himself alive. It seems like he's actually lived through the ages and stuff as well. Because I think if he had just come out of cryo, then depends on when he came out of cryo. Because then I think because he still need to take the time to keep up with the times and also change his accent and stuff and evolve that way. But I think he's found some way to actually to stay alive through the ages and just keep track of the obelisk. And I think given the war and the visibility of Hydra ended with the SSR taking down the last Hydra base and stealing the obelisk, it would give him all the more reason to seek out other means of staying alive and tracking the obelisk through its course on its course throughout history, and now finally being able to send someone after it. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to it. So Whitehall, we will immortal Nazi or de-aged Nazi, unageable Nazi, something. He is seemingly going to be the big bad, or at least one of the big bads this season. So, well, as bad as it sounds, we're looking forward to seeing what more he has to offer in this season. But yes, we had that. We had Brigadier General Glenn Talbot, so he had a promotion. Interesting to have an army guy in a show like this, in a series like this, like, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. being a massive intel organization. It's interesting and very much makes sense to have like an army guy on, like, to joining in and, you know, engaging in all the drama too. A very stubborn army guy, just the one saying, like, you know, oh, you can do whatever you want, I'm never going to help you, I'm always going to be watching you and be ready to arrest you no matter what happens. So he's very much kind of sticking to his end of the spectrum, being like, you know, you're a criminal and everything, and I'm going to arrest you. So yeah, very nice of them to drop him back in this car without his clothes. So yeah, so we have that, and yeah, I think the way this episode opened, and as well, I think that kind of scene where they revealed that, you know, that Hydra is still out there. Hydra isn't gone. They just retreated back into the shadows. Their uprising, their return, their kind of unleashment within S.H.I.E.L.D., their kind of, you know, like reveal within S.H.I.E.L.D. was literally just 15 minutes of fame. That was it. Like a handful of episodes, sure, but concept-wise, it was just 15 minutes of fame. And now that S.H.I.E.L.D. are fighting back, or at least what good is left of S.H.I.E.L.D. is fighting back, they're being forced to retreat back into the shadows and all that sort of stuff. So they've done their damage. They've taken down S.H.I.E.L.D., which is, again, as Talbot said in that news. In that news scene, S.H.I.E.L.D. was arguably one of the biggest intelligence organizations in the world, and Hydra managed to infiltrate it, and they managed to take it down. So now that they've done the damage that they intended, they can go back into the shadows and work on whatever the rest of their plans are. Now that S.H.I.E.L.D. is fighting back as well. But Coulson is doing the same thing. Upon realizing this, and upon realizing the bigger stakes that are at play and how little their resources actually are, like even like Hunter and Hartley and Idaho, they weren't official S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. They were just mercs working for S.H.I.E.L.D. under a paid like agreement. So, you know, they weren't. I think they weren't official S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Let me go back and check. I think when their thing came up on when their IDs came up on the thing, I didn't think they were. Hold on. Yeah, I think it said Agent Sky. So Agent, like, Sky is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but when their names came up, when their names came up, it was just, you know, Lance Hunter, Hartley, Idaho. It was just like no agent. So they were in S.H.I.E.L.D. records because they were working for S.H.I.E.L.D. under the you know, like, being mercenaries, being paid to work for them, but they're not under official S.H.I.E.L.D. personnel or anything like that. So yeah, so and Coulson mentioned he was struggling with recruitment, like, you know, the list of people that were, you know, being interviewed by S.H.I.E.L.D. versus the list, like, you know, the list of people that S.H.I.E.L.D. could actually trust was very, very minimal, was very, very slim. So he's struggling with the numbers and, you know, people that he can actually trust with S.H.I.E.L.D. intel and S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of authority. So yeah, building S.H.I.E.L.D., I think even after these few months, even after these months, it's not really proving to be an easy task. It's proving to be, you know, being director alone is, you know, having, you know, being in charge of all of this stuff is still proving to be a very, very, you know, complicated and very, very complex kind of task. So yeah, and as usual, I think I'm wondering whereabouts in the movies this would take place. Like, I think what comes after Winter Soldier? Isn't it like Guardians or something? Like Guardians of the Galaxy? I think so. I think they wouldn't really have much to tie into that, so I think that this would probably be free from any movie tie-ins so far. But yeah, but S.H.I.E.L.D., I think in the end he did realize that, you know, their numbers are still very small. There's still a lot of work to be done to get S.H.I.E.L.D. back to the size and strength that it was at originally, and to even make it even stronger, to make it better than it was from Hydra infiltration. So and like to avoid losing more and more people, to avoid losing more numbers and more strength, and to keep the people they have alive, he came to the conclusion that they have to go into the shadows. They have to do it, like not just with the cloaking tech on the Quinjet, but literally the Shield has to retreat into the shadows and help people without telling them they've been helped. Be the help that's there that just just moves away from the scene as soon as the problem is fixed. So yeah, so they have to become a much more of a secret organization now. And I think before as well, I think, and as well as that, I think it's the fact that beforehand, like, it was a mixture of not having to deal, like, before the Battle of New York, I think it might have been a mixture of not having to directly deal with that kind of stuff, and also just being like much more of a known government organization that allowed them to be somewhat more public, somewhat more direct, and somewhat more involved with public affairs. But now they know what's out there, they know what's at stake, they know what all the threats are going to be like, and exactly how they have to approach those kind of threats. So now they know they can't be as public anymore, they can't be as open as they once were, they have to actually work in the dark and just be those kind of silent protectors and watchful guardians in the shadows and stuff. So it's going to be a very different thing going forward. It's going to be very, very different going forward. So I am interested to see how they actually go forward, and especially since Hydra is still out there. They can't face them out in the open. They can't take them down publicly. They have to play Hydra at their own game. They have to be as quick and as stealthy and as secret as Hydra's being in order to actually fully eradicate them. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting show moving forward. And I think as a season opener, I think this is vast. This feels so different, because I think as a season opener, I think, oh damn, my hair just caught on my headphones. Damn. Like season 1, I think that opened up. I think it follows a very different kind of formula. You can tell that from the outset. Season 1, the pilot episode, I remember it even now, vaguely, but I remember it even now. I think season 1 started off with that very basic premise, the fact that okay, so you know about the Avengers, right? Captain America, Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk. You know about those superheroes. Well, now let's introduce you to a team of agents who deal with just as equally mystifying and equally dangerous threats from other worlds and other dimensions and extra like unearthly properties and stuff. Like, people who deal with that kind of stuff, but they work kind of behind the scenes. They work on smaller levels and stuff. They do somewhat the same level of work as the Avengers, but just a lot less kind of dramatic, and well, nearly as dramatic. But they work as a TV show. So the Avengers, but as a TV show, pretty much. And especially given that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. works with the same events. Like, they cleaned up after the Dark World. They dealt with Asgardians. They dealt with all manners of stuff. So, like season 1 opened up with, here's a team of agents, who are dealing with all this stuff. So just, enjoy them. See how you like them for a change. And, that season went down exploring this team, letting you get to know this team and stuff. But that opening episode alone felt, I think, looking back at it, it felt somewhat like a CW episode, somewhat like an Arrowverse episode. Like just treating it as somewhat like an Arrowverse show, like a team of people working together, saving the day, and having some laughs along the way as well. So like that kind of feel to it, and it helped me get into it. I'm not gonna lie, like me being so in touch with the Arrowverse, or me having watched the Arrowverse for a long time, it helped me get into the show. Getting that same vibe. But going forward, I think with this one, it shows that the playground of the playing field now is very, very different. Now we have a new team, a team with much more extensive knowledge, people who have a better idea of what they're up against now, and know that the world is not the same anymore. The world is very different. The world that they're going into is very different. They have like a much bigger, much more different mission. And from season 1, their world was torn apart over and over again, and stuff was real, stuff was table turned and plot twisted. So things are very, very different now, and now going forward, the team dynamic and the characters will be very, very different. They have to go forward, using everything they faced to their advantage. So that's definitely the kind of feel you get from this one. Things are different. You just have to deal with it. You just have to deal with it. The team is, you have to deal with it as an audience member. Or as an audience member, you have to deal with it as well. So you know, it's a very interesting way to actually move into a new season and to move into a new story as well. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've written down for this. I think as a season premieres, I think this, I think, you know, it's hard for me to rate it because I think, you know, I think, you know, you can't really, I mean, obviously with this being season 2, you can't really watch this without having watched season 1, but I think as like this is definitely kind of amped up a lot more, so in that sense it's a lot more dramatic, it's a lot more, it shows you a lot more, it actually brings you into this world a lot more heavily, whereas with season 1 it was very introductory, it was very much like a lot calmer. So with this one, it actually gives you a taste of like all the energy and high impact and action that's to come, but still leaving you wanting more, still showing you like, you know, this is nothing just yet, just wait, things are gonna start, you know, going dialed up to 11 pretty damn quickly. So yeah, but I think, you know, having watched, having come this far, I think I definitely said that this, as an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, as an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, this definitely works to prepare you for the depth and kind of, you know, like, density, not density, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty much just like the kind of fast-paced drama that the show's going to be like from now on. It definitely prepares you a lot more for that. So season 1 introduces you to this thing. Season 2, you know, tells you to buckle up. It tells you to buckle the fuck up. So, I mean, again, this is only episode 1, so it's not like a whole lot to go on, but it definitely does give you the feel that, you know, the way things are going, especially that ending alone. That ending was a fairly cliffhangery ending, but that ending alone shows you, like, you know, things are different now. They have to work differently. They have to play differently. You have to think differently. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot bigger and a lot more explosive, and I am here for it. Buckled in and ready to go. I'm not going to be able to handle it very well, but I'm ready to go nonetheless. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this one. So great starter to the season. Looking forward to seeing what more they have to offer. But yeah, that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 1, titled Shadows. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next in the season, and also what you thought of this season opener and what you thought of the season premiere. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next time.